It's really weird. My show, I go and I do my shows and I do my radio shows and do a bunch of other stuff. And one of the things I'm like always curious about is like real shit. Not the fake BS, not the clickbait, because it bores me. I want to know what's really going on. And one thing I do know is we got a man problem, a lack of real healthy masculinity. And I say that because while everybody's trying to figure out right, left, whose fault was it? His family was super MAGA, the stuff he put on the bullets and the things that he did. Oh, and his roommate slash lover, whatever. What was this? What if it was none of the right left? What if the kid that killed Charlie Kirk was potentially one of many that are out there? One of many that are struggling, one of many who are fighting in their own minds this bizarre world where they've decided to give up on everything and just like, fuck it, and blackpill it, which is, what the hell's black? Wait, what are you talking about? Think of it this way. The red pill, the blue pill, right? Like bliss or the truth. Which one do you want? And then you have the black pill, which is, doesn't matter. Everything sucks. The world sucks. It's horrible. I'm never going to get anything. All of it's awful. And it can't be fixed. So there. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy. And I bring that up as everybody battles over this because of stuff that just didn't sit right. It didn't sit right when you watch what happened last week. And I'm not even talking about what's, the horrors of what took place. That didn't sit right with anybody. But I look and I think we've got kids that are struggling here, young men in particular, who feel like they've been abandoned because while feminists and young women are making great strides, it's men that are falling further and further behind, young men in particular. They're angry. They're pissed at the world. They're looking around here. They're struggling. The incel world that is growing, this online, underground, bizarre world that is meme culture and perfection. And they know they're never going to get it. So they're just pissed and angry. Whether it was the shooting in Minneapolis a few weeks ago, we can go on and on about all of these kind of loosely grouped people who kind of all have the same story about how pissed and angry they are. Young white men in particular who are angry at the world because they were born. It hasn't given them everything they want. They're perpetual victims. They don't look like all of the things that they wanted to look like. And so because of that, they're going to take it out on everybody else. And this video is cool. It's about 4 minutes long. It's a little long. We'll stop in between and talk about it. But this is a woman talking, a young lady talking about the fact that she's like, everybody's looking at right and left. Don't look at right and left. Look at like probably what it is, which is there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of these kids who are pissed and young men who have this bizarre nihilistic look at the world. And they're saying, fuck it. And they want to be the anti-hero in their world.
I made a video yesterday talking about internet subculture, counterculture, and this whole world that a lot of people on the surface world don't realize is happening. And it's like got way more views than I anticipated. Comments are blowing up. And I didn't realize how many of you guys don't know this. So you need to Google trans maxers and looks maxers in the incel community because you guys keep trying to make it like a left issue or a right issue. These people are living outside of society.
And she says they're living outside of society. It doesn't mean that they're not participating in society. They haven't gone underground in their day-to-day world. But the world that they feel comfortable in is not the surface world. So think of it like the Matrix. So they're out there, they're living their world, but then they have this underground fringe world that they head to, which is where misery loves company. And you're seeing all of this. And there's more than a few of these men that we've talked about over the last umpteen months, pissed, angry, they're looking for some sort of revenge on the world, and they're coming at it in such a way where politics a lot of times gets lumped into it when maybe we need to look
in
deeper.
their own world. Like, you you don't realize how many trans maxers are not the same as transgender, and like that's gonna be a huge thing if it turns out like that's what his roommate might be.
So looks maxing, trans max, you're going to hear all this. Men over the last several years have gotten to mewing. If you don't know what that is, basically they're freaking reworking their face with freaking little hammers, try to get better cheekbones, right? To have that square jaw. They're trying to do everything they can to make themselves look like a genetic superstar. Because the way that these guys are coming at it is, and this is all about dating. They feel like they've got nothing. They as far as they got no game. Let's be honest. They got fucking no game in their mind. So they've got to make sure that they look the part, and it isn't working. So they're getting angry and they're getting pissed. And then they go, well, screw it. If that's the way it's going to be, they become more misogynistic. They become more just awful in the way that they view life. But remember, they're living their life, even in front of people. They're living it, but they have their other friends, the people that they go to. This is the scary part.
There's this whole pipeline of incel into black pill content and looks maxing where you have to be a Chad to be a man, otherwise you fail at your performance as a man.
Just because she said Chad, I didn't, that's like a thing. Okay. It's like a thing. So just don't even get on me on that.
And you'll see, like, guys will literally get insane surgeries, and like it's insane body dysmorphia. Like, they get surgery on their jaw, they get the hunter eyes, they literally like take calculators and measuring tools to measure their canthal tilts. Like, it's insane. And then if they fail at being a Chad, then one of their options is to trans into either androgynous or more feminine character or a full-on woman. And that's where they find freedom. There's a whole document about it. Like, they have like a whole fucking manifesto and rule book.
And they kind of do. It's not like a manifesto, but it's weird. And see, when you look at this stuff, like the trans maxing, the way they look at it is, if they can't be the ultimate dude, then their options may be better if they were the ultimate chick, if that makes sense. Like, that maybe trying to move over in that direction will give them better opportunities. And then you've got the furry. I mean, there's all this stuff that they've tossed into this, video games and furry stuff and all this shit that was tossed into this guy's stuff. And we're looking at it, I think, in a very wrong way. We got to look at it in a way where we've got young men that are hurting. We've got young men who are struggling, young men who are, they're looking around. They think they're never going to get married. They don't really have any prospects in life. They feel like they're never going to measure up to whatever ideals they think that the world wants them to measure up to. And they look around and they see, this article here, women aren't going to date down. This article here, they want a guy that's 6 foot. This article here, they want this and they want that. They go online and they see all this bullshit and they read stuff and polls that say, 95% of the women are trying to date the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% of men on this dating site, which means, there's only 5% of women for the other 95% of men. And they just feel like, and then they start getting pissed and they get angry. And that's when they go down these rabbit holes. And that's when shit starts to turn bleak and dark.
About it online. Like, it's an insane space. But it doesn't follow like left or right politics at all. These are rejects from society who live on the internet. I didn't realize it had gotten this big because, unfortunately, I'm a normal person who gets laid.
Well, there you go. You're a woman. It's a little bit easier. That's just the reality of it.
And I thought that these were just like fucking weirdos, weird kids in school that you just, whatever, who cares? Like, but I guess they have a whole society underground. And so, like, I thought this was like a smaller group, and it probably still is, honestly. It's just getting more publicity because of the recent shooters. But like, Tyler Robinson, the one from the Annunciation School shooting, the one from Wisconsin, like, they're all in this meme subculture group that doesn't have a political identity. It's not like, you're not going to be able to wrap your heads around it.
And that's the toughest part. When you can't wrap your heads around what is going on in this world, where you got these young men who are lost and they think that, Andrew Tate's the masculine side of the way that the world should be. They think all this bullshit that's not real. And they're searching for something and they're looking around and they're being told, since they were kids and in school that they've been left behind because they're the problems. They're anxious and take a pill and sit down and shut up. And you've seen that. Go look at college campuses right now. How many, for every one man that's graduating, how many women are graduating? They feel like they're being left behind and they're getting pissed and they're not looking at this in a way that they should be. And well, culture's like, just nut up and get over it. You got a lot of pissed off young men who were quiet, who are underground, who are on the Reddit boards, who are on all of these things. And I did a super deep dive into this shit, and it is scary because they are pissed and they're angry and they blame the world for their problems. And we are seeing this, and it's not just one singular thing. It could be a furry kind of thing that some people have. It's lots of meme culture and gaming culture, and then you get sucked into all kinds of insanity where they're looking to lay blame and they're looking for you to be angry. And it's just a scary place that we find ourselves. Over the last week, since what took place, the horrific murder of Charlie Kirk, everybody's trying to win something on the internet. It was their fault. It was their fault. And it was this and it was that. And it was this. And nobody's stepping back going, hold on a second. What happened was awful, but you got an empty kid over here. How many more of them are there? How many more of them are living in the fringes, but yet living in front of us, but kind of invisible? How many more of them are over there and in places that we should be able to see, but we can't? How many more are struggling like this that can act? Go look at the last several shooters. And in fact, a vast majority of them over the last several years, I bet you find incels in a whole bunch of them. Pissed off, angry, blaming the world, blaming women, full of self-hate and self-love, and they want to take that and they want to pass it off to the world. Because as far as they're concerned, the world has caused their pain. And we need to have more of a conversation about that. We're so interested in the right and the left because it's about Trump and it's about this and it's about that. Maybe some of it might be true. We're going to find out more. But maybe we need to take a step back and go, is there more to this than just right, left? Well, he was in college. He was in college for a little while. And then he left. And then he was studying to be an electrician. And I mean, and it's sad that we sit there and we watch these people who are trying so damn hard to make this my side one shit. When are all of us losing? It's a possibility. And there is a generation of young men that is getting absolutely left behind. And we better figure out how to fix that. Because if we don't, the future is going to be dark. It is. And it's scary. And you're seeing more and more of them who are now the anti-heroes in their own story as they write it up. They're celebrating the people that have gone and killed before them and shot up places. They are also looking at this in a way that's probably different because they think they see somebody like a Mangione and think, oh, look at him. Not only did he do something horrific, but he's around to enjoy it. Is that the new way to do things? We got to start asking more questions so we can find some solutions. Top of that today, I want to touch on this. Now, I'm going to say this right now. Pam Bondi is fucking retarded. I'm just going to, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. I mean, if that offends you. Between her and Kash Patel, what the hell's going on? Honest to God, what the hell's going on? So she was on Stephen Miller's wife's podcast. She's also a dumpster fire. That's what it should be called. It was one of those things where I've watched some of it. So I think she had JD Vance on, a few others, and I'm watching it. And I'm thinking to myself, is this one of those like between two ferns kind of, things where it's not everybody gets the joke, but a lot of people do. And she was asked about, the free speech because of all the things that are going on with Charlie Kirk and all these people. And they're full of, you know, hate and piss and vinegar and anger and they're celebrating and oh my God and all this crap. And look, I find it abhorrent, but I live in a free country, and in free countries, we're allowed to say shit. And she came out with this.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech.
I'm going to stop you right there, darling. No, there's just free speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. That's it. There's no such thing as hate speech. Just free speech. Period. Case closed. End of story.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
No. Just absolute ridiculous. There is no such thing as hate speech. There is just speech. People want to equate it. Well, what about if you try to, gin up a crowd to kill some people or something? That's a different story. That's fire in a crowded theater. This is, you didn't like Charlie Kirk. You said something. You celebrated. People got mad. Whatever that you're trying to do, that's the kind of shit that dictators say. And she's trying to walk it back. And she's, no. What the hell are you doing? You're the Attorney General of the United States. And you're like, we might slap some cuffs on some people. That'll show them. Well, in context, there's no context. The context is, no, we're not going after people. Look, we can look and we can ask serious questions, and businesses should be able to ask questions. If you go out and you celebrate the massacre of a human being, a father, a son, you may not have liked what he had to say, but you celebrate him being murdered and you put it online, and then your business that you work at may say, yeah, I don't really want to work with you anymore. Okay, we can ask questions. If you're getting funded, taxpayer funding by the government when it comes to school and stuff like this, that's a serious question. Yeah, I don't know if I want my kid there. What the hell are you doing? That being said, they have the right to say it. Doesn't mean there isn't situations where people aren't going to lose their jobs, because they are. And it isn't going to age well. We've talked about that. You put that shit out there, that's not going to age well. But to even hint around the fact that, well, maybe, it could be, I'm not quite sure, we could put cuffs on somebody. Wrong. What is going on with the right and this? You're becoming the cancel culture that, and it originally was, you were starting to cancel each other because there was a purity test and that shit wasn't working. Trust me, I get that every day. But now the cancel culture is going after everybody and everything. And that's just asinine and stupid. It is. And if your goal is to reach people, and that is your goal, is to talk to them and ask them questions. Some people, they're just going to rage. They're going to be pissed. Have a conversation. Well, I can't. Okay. But come on. Pam Bondi. And her missteps are tremendous. Let's start with the Epstein shit. Fuck that up. We can go on and on about crap that she's come out about. Like, we're going to prosecute and we're going to do this and we're going to put him in jail forever. It's like, are you going to file charges first? Oh, we got to do that? I mean, this is not just the first in this situation. And then you have Kash Patel, who we'll get at him tomorrow. Is there anybody else that looks like they're so in over their head? Like they say, like there was trouble with the pilot, and the guy back there is like, I'm a pilot. And you're like, you fly a glider. And then you go up and it's a 777, and you'd be like, I can do it. And you're like, no, you fucking can't. And now you realize, oh shit, I talked myself into something I can't do. Because that's what I feel like with him. He is just, but we'll get in deeper with him tomorrow. We'll jump on a couple other things. Justin said, hey, I listen to your shows daily on Spotify. Great content. Is this channel the same content? No, this is all new, fresh content. I do it afterwards of the shows that I do each and every day. So we do a lot of stuff. Sometimes we go live a little bit later in the evening. It really depends, on what's going on. I want to jump on, Israel for a second. And the conversation can't ever really be had with Israel, because it always ends up being, if you criticize the leaders as they go into Gaza City, then you hate the Jews and you're anti-Semitic, which, fuck you, is what I have to say. That's not true, right? Like, that's the same playbook from the left when you come out and you were like, yeah, I think that, so-and-so, Ketanji Brown Jackson, I think that, there were better choices if you were going to go with a person of color, or you're going to do this, that, and the other. And, all of a sudden, you hate black people, right? That's the shit that they do. You're racist. I don't want, drag queens reading to my kids at preschool. It's like, it's because you hate the LGBTQ community. It's the same thing. No, it's not that. I think there's an appropriate place for it, and that ain't it. I think we can absolutely criticize a nation that is committing, as far as I'm concerned, an atrocity. And they're doing it on our dime. They're doing it with our bombs and our bullets. They are looking at us and telling us to F off. Whenever they want to do something, they go and do it. And we have to act like, we knew it was happening, which makes it worse. We should have the opportunity to have a question asked every now and then without being called, you're anti-Semitic. Even today, I'm on the radio. I'm doing my thing on my local show. It's like, this is it. You start talking about Bibi Netanyahu. It's because you hate the Jews. I'm like, that's where you go. That's the most bullshit argument. And the other argument is, it's because you want the terrorists to win. Really? Is that the best you have? You want the terrorists to win? No. What I see, though, is not just an absolute annihilation happening. I see young kids, young men and women, children, elderly, with nowhere to go, pushed out, watching their city get flattened, and deciding a while ago, I don't want to be a part of any of this. There's a difference. Israel has every right to exist. Israel, all the same thing. Maybe always have to preface it. Israel has the right to, of course they have a fucking right to exist, and they have a right to defend themselves. But when did defending become punishing? When did that become the thing? And to listen to, to watch our fucking ass, freaking pussy whipped. And I said it right there. Oh, geez. Politicians go over there and they kiss the ass, everybody. And they go over there and they go to the wall and they do all the things. And I'm thinking to myself, because you're a Christian, you're a Jew. There's an issue here when it comes to the religious side of stuff, because considering this one over here thinks, that guy that you worship and believe in, Jesus, he was pretty much a guy that tried to, what did Ben Shapiro say? Overthrow the Romans and got killed for his troubles. So there's that. But you go over there and you think about all of the things that you're doing, and because for what? Just out of curiosity, you're going to usher in something is what you think. And you think if Jesus came down and be like, hey, wow, I am glad what you guys did with this place. Woo, it's exactly what I was hoping for. Glad you blew these kids up. No. And as I tell everybody out there who criticizes me, if you care about Israel, if you really did, if you gave a shit, then you would tell them this isn't the way. You're becoming a pariah. And the younger generation wants nothing to do with you or this. So you've bombed Lebanon, Yemen, Iran, Syria, Qatar. We have any more? Of course we have more. Palestine and Jordan. And you keep going. And I have no doubt that Iran is going to get hit before the end of the year. No doubt about that. And this you can't criticize them is shit. And this wacky, you got this, what's his name, Mast, who is a Florida congressional person who wore his IDF uniform on Congress onto the floor. The fuck is that about, dude? That is insane. They're trying to, well, we could do this law where if you criticize, what if we could, maybe take away your passport as an American, and what if you nah. Are you nuts? This is not about Israel. This is not about the Jews. This is about looking at humans and saying, this isn't right. This isn't right. This is completely wrong. This is not right. And I don't want to be a party to it. And I know a lot of people don't either. And a lot of people I know in my business, because I go out and talk about it, and I know a lot of people in my business terrified to do it. Terrified. I supported Israel at first, but at some point in time, they more than crossed the line. And Bibi is the one that has pushed this. After a while, it was never about getting back the hostages. It's about getting rid of everybody they possibly can. And don't think the West Bank isn't next, because it is. And then what? Well, what does Hamas run over there? Well, you got the Palestinian Authority. Well, did they attack on October 7th? No, they didn't. We're watching it in real time. We're watching it in real time. And we need to do better as humans, because this shit, it ain't working. And if you care about Israel, you'll say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to start asking some real questions and saying we need to take a step back. And this is not how we're going to do this, because when this generation of politician goes, and you've got some Gen X and a lot of millennials and a lot of alphas coming, and they're not about this, you're SOL at that point in time. You are. Absolutely. So yeah, it's okay to criticize. This isn't a criticism of Israel, the country, of the Jewish people. This is a criticism of the leaders who've decided this is what we're going to do, damn to everybody else. Go look at what's going on over there. Go look at how just destroyed everything is. How many people are dead? Don't know. How many people are starving? Again, no idea at this point in time. A vast majority of them with nowhere to go. Nobody wants them, and nobody could afford them if they did. So, yeah, we can ask questions. We can criticize. Nobody is above reproach. And if they think, hey, you can't criticize us, why not? Why? Tell me why we can't criticize you. Because this is a free country. It's our country. It's free. And damn it, you deserve criticism. Just like I get criticized all the time. Our government gets criticized all the time. I just criticized Pam Bondi in a major way. And yet I'll get more shit because I said, I think what we got going on here is a little ethnic cleansing. And people are like, you hate the Jews. No. We have to be true. We have to be honest. And if you're a believer, as many of them they are out there, they say, if you believe that and you can see little kids who've been blown to shit or missing arms and legs, haven't had food, and you think to yourself, well, this is good. This is what it's all about, right? We're doing it. Yeah, no, not buying it. Follow along, like and subscribe. Check out all of our channels. Go to ChadBensonShow.com. I am live every morning, 6 to 9 a.m. That is Pacific, and that is 9 to noon on the East Coast. We've got all kinds of cool stuff in there. We're going to be doing a lot more. Probably tomorrow night, we're going to do a much more extended podcast a little bit later, live. My uncle will join us. We'll talk about all kinds of crazy shit because next thing you know, we start talking about Downton Abbey because he's going to want to talk about that. If you guys don't, it's crazy. Some people out there love that show. But if you have a chance, check that out.